Hey, it's John Prokop here, and we got another day off work. We're gonna do some more timber rattlesnake hunting. I have two different areas mapped out for today's hike. Hopefully we can get into some snakes. Looks like we got some more good habitat, some meadows with some big rocks, and some steep points that look like they have some more rocky outcrops as well. So we'll see what we can get into. Well, it looks like we just found an entrance to a den. I look over and we got some snakes. Literally just must have came out, but that's a good sign. Decent sized snake is not too big, not too small, but that's definitely a den rock. Got a little freshly shed yellow. We're gonna let that go into the den, and I think we're gonna try to tube the other one. But not a bad snake. A good start to the morning. There's nothing better when you can pick the den rock out and the snakes are out there laying. We're gonna scoot this one into the den. This is definitely the bigger of the two snakes. Freshly shed yellow phase. We're gonna get a quick tube on him and see what he is. And into the tube you go. That one was a little bit trickier to try to get in. And sometimes, you know, they all have their different personalities. Not a very big snake, but definitely a pretty one. So we're gonna just see if it's a male or a female and let her go back into the den. So we'll see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. There's a chance that this could be a male, but it's not big enough to actually keep in length. It's probably closer to like 36 inches. Nice little rattle on it though. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rattles on it. So, gonna let it back go. And we started the day off pretty strong. Right back into the den. Even little structure like this can be great places to find the timber rattlesnake. There's nothing out here yet, but I wouldn't be surprised after the sun comes out for a little bit longer, we get one laying in wait. Well, I just got to a point in this meadow and it opened up, but there's a bunch of rocks here. I'm like, there has got to be a snake here somewhere. It just looks too good. I look down and we got a big dark face right there. Just taking in some sun, chilling. Well, we ended up getting both of them. This looks like a nice male, getting ready to shed. And then the other one is a freshly shed. Pretty aggressive. But a lot of snakes in here. Really beautiful colors on this snake. Freshly shed. We're gonna take him back to the den and let him go. This snake, however, might be a legal male. I just want to get a quick tube on them and maybe a tape measurement too. It's probably close to being legal. There we go. He wasn't too hard to tube, but a nice snake. And we're gonna see if he's a male or not. If he's a male, I might get a tape on him real quick. So count the scales again. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 subcaudal scales, so this is definitely a male snake. But I'm gonna do a quick rough estimate with the tape and see if he would be legal. He's got to be close. It is very hard to do this so low. I'm gonna say he's about 42, 43 inches. So he would probably be a legal male. Oh. I'm gonna let him back into the den rock. There we go, bud. And back into the den he goes. Look at those acorns growing. It is going to be a crazy, crazy mast year. Seems like everything's loaded. You always want to be careful when you're out here looking for snakes. I was walking down this little deer trail and there's not a whole lot of rocks or structure in this spot. So I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. And well, I heard the snake strike right next to me. And lo and behold, there is a timber rattlesnake. I'm pretty sure he missed my boot though. It's always the snake that you don't see. You guys always want to be careful out here in snake country. You never know where you're going to see these snakes. And the timber rattlesnake has 3 lines of defense. And the first line is not what you think. It's camouflage. It relies on its camo to blend in with the forest floor. And second, it uses its rattle. If anything or any predator is getting close, it will rattle to make sure they know dangers in the area. And the final would be the bite and the venom. This is just a little guy right here, but he never made it known he was there. I walked right by him and he tried to strike at me. He's not happy. He's feisty. He's freshly shed, but he's a yellow phase, and he tried to strike at me right when I walked by him. Which usually 9 out of 10 times I do get a rattle, but I was right on top of him. Luckily he missed, but like I said, they're not always by the dens or habitat. He was just right along a deer trail, just kind of hanging out, but look at the colors on him. People ask me all the time why I like to go snake hunting, and it's this right here. Just out in the middle of nowhere, you got some of the most scenic views, and you get to experience Mother Nature in its purest form. These snakes are just out here chilling, minding their own business, not hurting anybody. But what we got right here is gravid females. And these females are actually pregnant and will give birth usually in September-ish time frame. But they move to these facing slopes to regulate their metabolism and to be able to develop their young. It's amazing that Mother Nature knows to do that, but these are most likely pregnant females. We are rapidly approaching gestation den number 2, or what I feel like is a gestation den. It looks like they did some habitat management here at one time, and we'll see what's going on. Well, it looks like we got to den site number 2 right here, and it sounds like there might be a couple snakes actually in the rocks. We are not going to disturb them, and we are just going to be on our way. It's been a little while without a snake. I was coming down this big overgrown pipeline. Just happened to look over at that rock, and it looks like there's a timber rattlesnake sitting there. Just sitting outside of the den. Not a bad snake. Little guy. Pretty snake. Pretty snake, just shed not too long ago. Not very feisty though. Kind of pretty timid still out in the shade like that. Get a quick tube on him and see what's up. He was a snake that didn't want to cooperate, but beautiful snake, a lot of good color on him, and most likely a 40-inch snake, just a little shy of being legal. We'll let him out of the tube. Here you go, bud. I am back to the truck. That was a pretty solid day. We ended up handling 6 snakes, and we also observed 6 pregnant females or juveniles. So pretty good for a new area. And I just want to thank you guys for following along. And if you like this type of content, like, comment, and subscribe. We got a ton of adventures lined up for the rest of July. Stay safe out there, guys.